This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic. And we are back for another edition of the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on Most Valuable Podcast, one-stop shop for superhero, nerdy news, movie, entertainment. We kind of do everything here in the nerd kind of realm.
Yes.
And whether it's comics, movies, you have it. We are talking about it. And Johnny, got a jam-packed show today. Going to be talking about Joss Whedon leaving Batgirl and what that means for the Batgirl project. We're going to look at a movie that you're excited about, even though we're probably not going to get it till 2020, I heard. Godzilla vs. Kong starts filming in October. We're going to talk about what we should expect from that. And then we have kind of a little debate at the end. I don't know if it's a debate, but it's a versus segment where we're going to debate or we're going to discuss what's the better movie idea. Mario animated, Sonic animated. So we're going to look at both of those animated movies that will be coming out. But before we get into everything, a little bit of housekeeping here at the beginning. Number one, you like what we do, want to help support us, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. For $1, you can get an exclusive Patreon podcast each and every month from the MVP guys. For $10, you can be on a podcast with us talking about what you would like to talk about. Number two, if you want an MVP t-shirt, that store link is down below in the description. Go ahead, grab your own MVP merch. Third, go on iTunes, give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating. It would mean the world to us and would help us out a lot. And last but not least, go ahead and bookmark Most Valuable Podcast. That's where you'll get everything from MVP, and it'll be right there, right for you at MVP.com. Well, not MVP.com, mostvaluablepodcast.com. It will be there for you. But Johnny, let's dive into our first topic. And this is a big one. This is the doozy of the podcast. Like, the big news of the week, Joss Whedon leaving the Batgirl project. And the thing I wanted to read before I usually throw it to you here at the beginning
gotta have a quote from
I have a quote from THR's report of Whedon's departure, and here's what they say. Sources say that Whedon, after a year of trying, could not crack the code of what a Batgirl movie should be. Wonder Woman, meanwhile, became a cultural phenomena as well as one of the biggest hits and most acclaimed movies of 2017. Industry sources add that even as Whedon faced story issues, in today's cultural and entertainment environment, a male filmmaker may have faced greater public scrutiny if he were to have tackled a movie with such feminist importance as a Batgirl or Wonder Woman, much like a white filmmaker would have been backlash taking on the Black Panther movie, end quote. I just want to ask you, plain and simple, what does his departure mean for Batgirl? What does it mean for the Batgirl project?
Well, I mean, there's many different things that have been said to go into it. It could be he had a writer's block for a full year and not know what to do with it, which is why he walked away. Stuff in his personal life, and I forgot how they say it. Something marital is part of it. I mean, I need a definitive answer of why he walked away from it, aside from possibly just it being writer's block. But I mean, it could be a good thing because we could get the same person that did Wonder Woman in there, maybe. And she did a phenomenal job with Wonder Woman, so I don't see why she couldn't do a good job with Batgirl. If not, maybe getting someone that kind of could do that dark tonality that needs to be the Batverse. I mean, it doesn't need to be nearly as dark as Batman or even something with Nightwing, but it still needs that dark tonality to it in some way.
Well, and the thing that I think about first and foremost is what does it mean for the Batgirl movie? I'll be honest, it puts it on the back burner. Like,
that's true.
I was excited.
I didn't think about that.
I was excited for Batgirl. Now I'm like, well, if I see it, I see it. Like, that's what I'm feeling right now.
If we get it.
If I get it, I'll be happy. Like, the same thing with the Nightwing movie, where, have you heard the news going on around that?
I don't think I did.
Where the director of even the Nightwing movie that DC was going to do, he got hired to do a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Ooh.
That's going to film and be before Nightwing, but it might clash with Nightwing. And that director came out and said, no, I want to do Nightwing too. The only way I'm stepping away from this project if Warner Brothers fires me. So now they're in that situation too. So you're going to do that movie. And most of these movies are revolving around the bigger point. Their Batverse, or what I'm calling their Batverse, because it looks like with Matt Reeves' Batman that they kind of want to make their own Bat Family Batverse. Yeah. Where it's like, we've got the Batgirl movie, we've got the Nightwing movie, we've got our Batman movie, instead of making it an entire DCEU. Another thing that I think about that you didn't throw out there that could have been a reason why Whedon was like, you know what, I'm going to step away. All the backlash that was directed at him after Justice League.
Well, I didn't get to that one yet.
Now, I'm not going to say that, first off, I'm not going to say people shouldn't have their opinion on that, but I didn't understand why people were going after Joss Whedon, because think about the position that you were in. If you were stepping in for Zack Snyder, who had to leave the project for the family issues that was going on with him, the tragedy that was going on in his life, what, are you expected just to step in and be a yes man and basically, yep, okay, we're going to do it this way? Or does the creative juices like, hey, I'm a creative mind, I was hired to take this over, I'm going to do my job and make the decisions that I feel like are there. Like, that side, that could have been another reason why he's no longer with the Batgirl project, because, hey, of the criticism that he got at the end of Justice League.
Exactly. I mean, with all the amount of backlash that came with it. And honestly, you don't know if Zack Snyder's parts were better. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people claiming, well, we want to see Zack Snyder's part of it, and maybe we'll get to see it, maybe we won't. I don't know. But, I mean, you don't know if it's better. So just because Joss Whedon, he came in mid-project, what are you going to expect him to get done? You can't, like, rehash the whole movie. At some point, like, you're already in on it. You can't, like, he had to do a ton of reshoots. Am I correct when we were reading about that before? He had to do a lot of reshoots. You can't, like, just scrap the whole movie and restart it. That's too much money out of the company's
and of course
pocket.
Like with reshoots, you're not going to do that because, like you said, you're going to drive that price up, and it's like, great, we're going to lose money on this because we have to do the reshoots. And I mean, the whole thing with the Henry Cavill mustache gate that was going on with that one as well. What I'm looking at right now is, apparently, to get on the writer's block part of this, apparently Joss Whedon was going to adapt the $1 million debut of Batgirl, that story arc. And if you're not familiar with it, kind of the little synopsis that I'm reading through is, so Barbara Gordon, daughter of Commissioner Gordon, is going to attend a policeman's ball. She has a costume that she designed in the style of Batman. She gets to the country club, finds the villain Killer Moth attacking one of the guests, Bruce Wayne. She dives into them, giving Wayne a chance to escape. Batman then Batman becomes Batman, and then he returns to find, or to give Batgirl a hand. Killer Moth then uses a silk gun to web Batgirl to Bruce's car, and then escapes with his underling. So it's kind of like, to me, it looks like a story of like, hey, this was one where we're going to jump in where she's already becoming Batgirl. We're not going to get the setup of like Barbara Gordon herself. We're going to jump in, she's Batgirl, and then her dealing with Bruce to where it's, hey, I want to be a part of this. No, you can't. I can't put my friend's daughter in harm. No, I want to do this. Like that kind of a thing. Yeah. That looks like the story arc that Whedon was trying to put together for this Batgirl movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know what goes into rewriting these stories to make it, because I would feel like, to me, it's kind of just follow the comic. I mean, yeah, there's some parts you're gonna have to cut out. There's some parts you're gonna have to rehash, and obviously you got to kind of Hollywood it, and I use this term a lot, and Ricky knows that, to make it adaptable for screen. Yeah. And I don't know what goes into that, but I would feel like you have a pretty solid base if you just follow the comic, either comic book or the the comic book series and just take as much of that story as you need. And yeah, it's kind of nice to, I like some of the things we've been doing and seeing is where you kind of hash some stories together so that you get elements of this one, you get elements of this one, and it's not like, oh, well, I've already read this.
No, and that's exactly it. And I mean, the thing that I hope that moving forward, here's what I hope that the Warner Brothers does. Because right now I'm kind of looking at an article for who should be the director of Batgirl. And really my mind is, I'm kind of like, let's go the route that we've just seen for 2 movies so far. The first one is Wonder Woman. The second one is Black Panther. The Black Panther director name is slipping me right now, but you had Patty Jenkins who did Wonder Woman, the guy who did Black Panther. Those two coming into that first movie, not very known by many. So that contract was very small.
Yeah.
But like now Patty Jenkins, with what she did with Wonder Woman, she getting paid for Wonder Woman 2. She getting paid.
You're looking for the director, you said?
Yes.
Ryan Coogler?
Ryan Coogler. That
if I pronounced it right.
I knew his initials were RC.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to mess up
RC.
his name. I knew the initials were RC though.
Like the cola.
You got Coogler and you've got Jenkins. Part of me says let's go with a director like that, where it's like it's a name that I might not know. However, I will throw out there that I feel like this movie has to have a female director. Kind of like how Wonder Woman has Patty Jenkins, how
honestly,
Black Panther had Coogler, who was
maybe even bring
African-American.
back Patty Jenkins.
Get her to do Batgirl and Wonder Woman?
She did great with Wonder Woman.
True.
She's already doing, she's doing Wonder Woman 2, right? She's working on that one?
She is inked on, I believe, to do Wonder Woman 2.
Why not just have her do another? She's already working for Warner Brothers. Have her do like, hey,
well, that would
we're
be
sign you on to do this one too.
Yeah, that would be a whole nother contract. They would just,
it is another whole.
Let's
nother
be honest,
contract.
they would just wrap the contract and give her the money. That's basically what it would be.
Exactly.
But I'm looking at an article right now from Screen Rant, and some of the directors that they throw out, all females, are you've got Michelle McLaren, who has worked with the X-Files, Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Westworld. I look at that and I just look at the past. That one kind of scares me a little bit almost. Because I would be afraid of, all right, you've done all these things, but it's an extensive television resume.
Yeah.
Your television is far different than an actual movie. Not saying that it can't be
There's
done.
elements that can tie over.
It's not that it can't be done. The second one I see is Jodie Foster, who, of course, is known for her acting career, but she's also directed, she just directed, I believe, an episode of Black Mirror on Netflix.
Okay.
I have not seen it. I've been told I need to watch it, but I'm sorry. People tell me that it's like creepy and it's going to make you fear like machines in the future.
Like this.
I don't want to fear the future.
Ricky already fears machines.
She's directed. She had credits in House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, and the feature film, The Beaver. So I mean, that's one you could go with. Anna Lily Airpar. I hope I said that right. She's directorial debut was A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night in 2014, which was part vampire film, part spaghetti western. And then Reed Morano, they have here, who her debut was Meadowland in 2015. So the last two are kind of new, up and coming. I would say lean more towards I'm not saying this exactly, but based off of like what I've just read with names,
Yeah.
I would go more off of a like Reed Morano type, or even like a Anna Lily type, where it's like, all right, you had your first directorial debut was 2014, your directorial debut was 2015. This is going to be your first shot at a big time production for a movie, because of course in the interview room everything has to go right. You got to feel the right one. Like for example, apparently McLaren, who was the TV director, the extensive TV resume, apparently she was linked to Wonder Woman before Patty Jenkins was put in charge. So if that's true, that might play into it a little bit. that might not play into it a little bit. But here's what I want to ask you. Completely different. Well, if you have a retort to the directorial thing, go ahead and say it.
I mean, the only thing I'm wanting is I can get maybe bringing someone that was smaller to make kind of like you said, Patty Jenkins and the other one, they smaller roles, and then this like their big thing, like Black Panther was a big thing you give it that is you have to hope they do as well as these ones because it's not always going to happen like that. But my thing is either that or bring in like I said, the only reason I just keep going back to Patty Jenkins, it doesn't have to be her specifically. Someone who did a really good job in a role somewhat similar. You want an empowering woman, right? Like you want her to be able to pull out from the actress an empowering woman role. You need to find someone who has already done that and have them do it again on the big screen. I mean, there's a chance that like with such an extensive and I forgot what name you said. Who's got the extensive resume for the TV?
Michelle McLaren.
Michelle McLaren. If she has done this with actresses on multiple TV shows, she can possibly put that onto the big screen because they did. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there's elements that can cross over. But what were you gonna ask? Here's
one thing that I just read was after reading this, I'm kind of happy that the $1 million debut of Batgirl is not going to be the main story arc because I'm reading a synopsis of it from a different website, and here's what it says. Okay, so the story is pretty thin and really dated. And then in parentheses it says, Batman tells her she can't team up with them because they can't worry about a girl. I don't think something that's that dated would work today.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go with that. I mean, that would be where they all make alterations to the story.
But this is where I kind of ask you, and this is what we'll end this segment with before we move on into Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah.
Just like we did for Black Widow. Just like we did for that when we talked about that movie. Johnny, clean slate.
Okay.
You are now the writer, director, head of the Batgirl projects. Yikes. Congratulations. It's a big shoes to fill in Joss Whedon.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Where do you start? What kind of story would you start with if you were penning a Batgirl movie?
Well, here's one that kind of blew your mind a little bit.
A little bit.
And first thing I brought up to you before the show, use a Killing Joke.
Why not?
Exactly. I'm not saying. I mean, I didn't say no, and you didn't say no either, and you're the Bat person.
Here's the only thing that I would. Here's the only thing when we get into.
At first, it was partially a joke, but it's like actually, it's not a terrible idea.
But the thing that I look into, and here's the only thing that I have, my only qualm with the Barbara Gordon thing. If we're gonna do the storyline, where we're pushing her, and I'm thinking animated series right now in my head. If we're pushing her off the building and we're making her Oracle, do you, like, what's your plan for Batgirl in the story, in the Batverse? I think it's hard to know that without having a Batman movie yet.
Yeah.
It's hard to have that when the only thing we've seen of Batman is BVS, which, bad. Sorry for that. I just didn't like it. Then you have Justice League, which is not a Batman solo movie.
No.
So I think we need the Batman solo movie before we can decide what to do with Barbara Gordon. However, I wouldn't be against. What kind of balls would that say?
Right.
From the director from Warner Brothers to say, yeah, you know what? We're going to go Batgirl, but we're going to go Oracle Batgirl.
Yeah.
We're going to go and I know people will be like, oh, great, let's just make her behind the camera and she's going to be the one that's the tech whiz and not out there fighting. I get that part of it because there are probably people that are like, no, I want to see her in the costume. I want to see her actually fighting crime. And then maybe you don't do the Killing Joke part right away.
No, I agree.
You don't push her off the building in the first movie, but that's something they can obviously lead to. I would love, like when you brought it up, I had that oh crap moment of, could you imagine the Christopher Nolan verse, with or without Bale, you can give or take, but just that Commissioner Gordon holding Barbara in his arms as she has just been pushed off a building. Just give Oldman the Academy Award now.
You don't want to see that part, and then all of a sudden, I'm sorry for what happened. I should have been there to stop it.
Yeah, maybe we recast Christian Bale. So maybe we recast, like, before it was like, give or take. No, we recast that because I don't want to see
Harvey Dent. Can we trust him?
And it would, you know what? Honestly, I know we're not getting Christopher Nolan back, but it would work because you want to know why? We've already introduced the Scarecrow in that universe. Mm-hmm. We've already introduced the Joker. Of course, we'd have to sadly recast the Joker. But the villains are there. The main two villains are there. That's the only way I would do Killing Joke, if we can bring back the Nolan cast, except for getting rid of Christian Bale, because after you did that voice, I did not want to do anything. Because I can imagine Gary Oldman giving me the best scene he's ever been in. There's so much emotion. And then Christian Bale.
I'm sorry this happened. I know, I'm doing a shit job of it.
It's not too far off.
I'm purposely doing a shit job of it, just so to clarify to you guys. But I can do a better version of it. I just like making fun of that.
But you know what yours kind of sounds like? The college humor.
Yes, that's what I'm going with.
Okay, but it's not that far off.
That's why at the end of it I did Harvey Dent.
Huh?
Can we trust him?
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
What if, and this is what I'll end the segment with.
Yeah, I'm going to let you bring up the storylines because you're the bad verse, yes.
Why not do a Birds of Prey type thing? Where Birds of Prey is
elaborate for me.
Nightwing and Batgirl. Okay. And the one I'm looking at is called On Wings, Bat Prey number 8, or Birds of Prey number 8. This story chronicles the first date, although they vehemently do not call it a date, between Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon. And what a lovely date it is. There's no supervillains in this story, no threats, no world-shaking crisis, just Dick and Barbara, old friends potentially becoming something more. When Dick asks Barbara what she misses most since her paralysis, she replies that it's the sensation of flying through the air. So Dick takes her to the circus, and they fly through the air. It's wonderful. Not saying completely with that. What if we go off of that? However, she'd either have to be paralyzed first, or you just take the side of it where, hey, we're going to take this aspect into it, but she's not going to be paralyzed at this point. And the thing reading through this, you know what would work better for a Batgirl movie, more so than the Black Widow movie? Taika Waititi's idea. Could you imagine a rom-com with Batgirl and Nightwing?
That would be interesting.
Because I could.
We'd have to find another storyline to bring it in with, so you have some villains in there.
There has to be a villain.
There has to be at least a villain in there. But then, like, that way you have the you can bring the one aspect into it of it being a date rom-com by say his name again for me because I always mispronounce it.
Oh, Taika Waititi?
Yes. Bring his idea of a rom-com into it. Bring another storyline into it because that's why I'm leaving it to you. You're the Batverse guy.
I got another one. I got another one here.
So I'm not very well versed in it.
What about this one? So this one's called War Games.
Okay.
And it has multiple titles. So there's a lot going on in the War Games story, which spread throughout nearly every Gotham-based book in DC's slate at the time. This was 04-05. But while you might argue that this was Batman's story, or even a bigger story for the ill-fated Stephanie Brown, it also features Barbara Gordon's life being turned on its head. Fearing that Batman will die in his pursuit of Black Mask, Barbara manipulates events so that the two face off in her clock tower. When things look dire, Barbara blows up the clock tower, knowing that Batman will save her rather than continue his foolish pursuit. Batman doesn't take too kindly to what he sees as overreach by his former protege and essentially banishes her from Gotham City, which is when Barbara moves the entire Birds of Prey operation to Metropolis.
Oh, wow.
You could do a story like that. Here's Here's the thing, though. This first one, I don't know how you can do a Batgirl. Like, the thing is where, like, I was reading about Black Panther. They said, oh, it was almost an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can do that same thing with Batgirl because the universe hasn't been built. At least Wakanda, we know what Wakanda is. We knew about it in other movies. Black Panther was in another movie.
References to everything, yeah.
This Batgirl movie has to be an origin story.
Has to, yeah.
It has to be an origin story. And that's why I just look at like one like Batgirl Year One, which is basically taking the bones of the origin story and offering new depth to it and the journey. That's what we'll have to go with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as cool as these all sound, you can't really like throw it right into Oracle already because a lot of people aren't going to be happy with that.
No, there's going to be people, and I would want it too. I'd want to see her in the Batgirl costume for a little bit.
At least for a little bit.
Yeah, at least a movie or two.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we move on?
No, it'd be interesting to figure out, because I mean, there's obviously more origin stories or stuff that you can tie other other comic book storylines you can tie it in with. Like I said, I was leaving this more up to you because you have more of the Batverse behind you than I do.
I got one more I'm going to leave you guys with. Let me know what you guys think about this one down below. Wanted Batgirl Volume 4. I'm going to tell this guy about it off camera, but I want you guys to look up on it. Tell me what you think down below. Let us know what you guys think about the Batgirl project. Where does it stand right now that Joss Whedon is leaving the project? Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. But Johnny, let's move on into our next topic, and we're taking a look at one that you very much like.
Yes.
When we saw Game Night this past Thursday, I told you about this, and your face lit up. And I was like, you know what? This needs to be a topic. Johnny needs some. I got to throw you a bone. Every now and then, we're talking Godzilla versus Kong. Filming is set to begin later this year in October. October 2018 is when they will start filming. I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
What should we expect from Godzilla and Kong? The 2020 movie, that's when it's going to come out.
I'm just hoping for a good epic battle.
That's it.
That's all all I'm expecting.
You don't care about things like writing and character development and story.
Why do we need character development? We have
two monsters fighting each other.
I mean, we got the Rampage movie coming out.
True. We'll get to that in a later date.
Three monsters fighting each other.
Why give different podcast? Why give the wolf wings? But that's a different podcast. Go ahead. I digress. Go ahead.
I think it. And what I'm really happy to hear that I was reading through and an article we got. I'm gonna read this real short part.
Go ahead.
Widmer has promised that the film will have a clear winner of the epic battle. None of this. Oh, he's dead. But is he? No, I'm just happy we're going to get a definitive winner. So you're thinking
one of them is going to die?
Yes. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
No, but I mean...
one of them is going to die.
But a clear winner could be, oh, he won the fight, but Kong's just going to be... Like, if it's Kong that dies, yeah, Godzilla won the fight, but Kong's not going to mess with him anymore.
It could be one of those, but I feel like...
I think if you're doing clear winner, though, just kill one of them.
Clear winner, one of them's going to die.
So I want to ask you this. This is off of that.
Yeah.
If you had to pick, which one would you... If you were the director, which one would you have win? Would you go more so on, this is who I would think would win, or, okay, who do we want to set up for another movie? Because the one thing that you mentioned before we hit the record button, and it was kind of funny... You read something where it was like, oh, that the Wingard wants to link it to Godzilla 2. And you go, all right, so Godzilla wins.
I mean, we only had, what, one actual Godzilla movie?
I think we might have had two.
We had two? Okay.
I think there was a second one to the, yeah.
Oh, there was a two? No, I don't
remember
there being number
Godzilla
two.
King of Monsters is supposed to be 2019.
Yes.
So it hasn't come out
Okay,
yet.
so it's supposed to come out before the Kong vs. Godzilla. Okay, so then never mind on my little joke there.
So it's going to tie together.
It's going to tie that one together.
Ooh, that one's going to have Millie Bobby Brown in it.
Huh.
And Kyle Chandler, who we saw in Game Night.
Ooh.
As what was his name? Blake? Something with a B.
I don't remember.
His character from Game Night. But no.
Remember the night, not the morning.
This one is here's the thing that worries me about it.
Yeah.
It's Wingard. The director worries the crap out of me. Adam Wingard worries the crap out of me. The
See,
reason why he worries the crap out of me is because you look at the movies that he's directed so far, a lot of them before 2016, I look at and go, what? What movie? Like, and that's not the huge problem.
No.
Like we talked about in Batgirl, you can get a director. Look at Patty Jenkins. No one knew who she was. Wonder Woman, now people know who Patty Jenkins is. Ryan Coogler is the same thing. Here's the thing that bothers me with Wingard. The first movie that I would say is his beginning at like the top, the Blair Witch remake. Yes, critics are critics, and there are times with us doing reviews we don't agree with them.
Yeah.
But just to use the IMDb reviews as a basis, a 5 out of 10. Not a terrible movie, but I see 2.5 out of 5, and I go, all right, so it wasn't a great movie.
Yeah.
Then you look at Death Note, where, yeah, it's a 4.6 out of 10, but from everyone that I know, because I was going to watch the Death Note movie.
I was going to, I just didn't. I think it's even in my queue right now.
I was going to, because I'm like, you know what? I like William Dafoe. I think it's going to be funny. This is what I'm going to go with. I think it's going to be good. Dave literally told me, don't waste your time. He watched it before me and was like, don't wait. Like, Dave can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's like, don't waste your time. And I was like, okay. Like, Dave didn't like it. My other friends that were into Death Note didn't fucking like it as well.
Wow.
So that's the thing that worries me about this is Wingard.
Yeah.
You've got 2 movies, your last 2 movies, not so hot when it comes to the critiques. And like I said, take the critiques with a grain of salt because everyone's going to have different tastes. But I look at that and I go, is right now, I got to be proven wrong because right now I'm starting to lean towards is Wingard going to be the right decision for this movie at the directorial position?
I completely agree, and that's because part of it I was reading earlier in that same thing that I read to you, and I think you were just reading from. This monster movie mashup promises to be dark and depressing. I'm like, wait, why? I mean, I get some elements and some parts of it can be, especially like when Godzilla comes and attacks another town or something like that. That makes complete sense. Yeah, things get depressing, things get dark. But like when you describe that when it's supposed to be a monster versus monster movie, why? Why is it that part? That part's just supposed to be like action packed and full of destruction.
I mean, even to go, because I'm seeing where you read, if you continue there, Wingard plans to explore the reality of the destruction left behind by the cryptids' epic and dangerous battle. The goal is to pay reverence to the original film's Hiroshima symbology. Kong Skull Island director Jordan Vaught Roberts has expressed his confidence in Wingard as a director, praising him for his ability to recognize the anime, manga, mech sensibility he brought to Skull Island and his ability to incorporate that into Godzilla versus Kong. And, of course, Wingard has promised that, of course, it will have a clear winner.
Yeah, I mean, that part, the rest of it there, I get it. It's great symbolism. It's really good. And I just, like you said, part of it's because of his ratings on his last few movies were not terribly great. As well as, when you put that aspect in there, that's where the dark and depressing comes in. But I would hope really more so the ending of it would be the monster battle, not the
beginning,
beginning/middle, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, I would say the end is the epic battle.
Yeah,
the battle comes at the end.
And that's what I would really hope for.
The thing that and of course I'm using one movie as reference for this, but the one thing that made me kind of go, really, is the part where they said Vogue Roberts said that he praised him for his ability to recognize the anime, manga, mech sensibility. Just the anime, manga part, I look at that and go, all right, if you had such great ability to recognize that, why did people not like Death Note?
That's very true.
Why did people not like
an anime
that you adapted into the real world people didn't like it. I don't know if that was, and that's the thing that dives into a deeper topic. Was Death Note the problem with it? Was it the director's fault? Was it the didn't like the actor choice in it? There's
writer,
many things that go into that. The writing. Of course, this movie, good or bad, is not going to be all on Adam Wingard.
No, not all of it.
I'm just, right now, I know it's 2018. I know they even haven't started filming it. We're not going to get it till 2020. I'm not super skeptical. That's not the word. I'm not super excited, I'll say.
Yeah.
Because skeptical would be, I think, where I am going. I'm very skeptic, I think is what I'm saying, about this movie.
Yeah.
Whereas another thing that kind of plays into this, and this isn't Wingard's fault at all, Kong Skull Island, that was like, what, a year ago?
I think so.
We did that early on when we started the Rick and Johnny podcast. So 2017 is when we had Kong Skull Island, the beginning of it. So like February, March. And then it's like, all right, so 2018, 2019, it's going to be 3 years till I get another movie.
Well, didn't they say
that
2019 we're supposed to get Godzilla King of Monsters?
That's right. Godzilla
so there's
going to
be a movie in between there, which ties in with that first Godzilla movie with Bryan Cranston, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I didn't see that one still. Shame on me. But what I was thinking is, I don't know. I know the older story, Godzilla more so becomes the hero when it comes to those really old ones. Because I've seen bits and pieces of them. And he defeats Kong, which is significantly smaller than him in that film. Which I'm hoping they kind of make it more of a fair matchup. Because let's see, 70s Kong was probably as tall as some of those mountain ridges they had, would you say? Or close to. So we had Kong, but he's not nearly as tall as Godzilla in the Bryan Cranston one. But the question is, since I didn't see the Bryan Cranston one, you guys correct me if I'm wrong as well. Was he more of a villain-esque monster? Was it more of just a force of nature thing going on? Or I don't know if you saw it.
No, that one, I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
I looked at it and went, not interested.
Okay.
At the time, like, because TBH.
Yes, TBH.
I was actually looking at like old versions of Godzilla just to see how he's progressed. The Godzilla that came out when we were kids, do you remember that monstrosity?
I do remember that one.
The one where it was like, oh, you just took a T-Rex and made the fucking head like super like big and
kind of like T-Rex size raptor.
It's not Godzilla though. It was just a dinosaur.
It was a giant dinosaur.
It was a dinosaur with a weird head. With the Taco Bell commercials.
My side note on that.
Here, lizard.
Here's my side note on that one. If it was so big, how the hell did it lay eggs inside the building on that floor?
I don't know. That movie confused me.
I want to know how
the thing I will most remember from that Godzilla is the commercial of the Taco Bell dog with the bag next to him going, here, lizard.
I remember that.
Here, lizard, and then quiero Taco Bell.
Yep.
That's the only thing I'll remember from that movie besides like remember the font for that too, where it was like the black with the neon green.
Yeah, I do remember that
outline, and like the poster was just like the eye of Godzilla.
See, those things were kind of cool.
Yeah, but then you saw the movie and it was like, what the hell is this?
What did you feed me?
Yeah, what did you feed me? You fed me crap. What are you doing? But we digress. This one, because I'm looking at Godzilla King of Monsters 2019. And that's supposed to be the next chapter to the Warner Brothers Legacy Pictures Monsterverse, as they're calling it. And it's going to pit Godzilla against some of the most popular monsters in pop culture history. So I'm assuming this is one where we get him against Mothra. We get him against all the creatures we saw at the end of Kong Skull
inside
Island.
the caves. No, actually, now that you say that, King of Monsters, and the title just clicked in my head, there's going to be at least a fight between him and someone else.
Yes.
Which makes him King of Monsters, whether it's just fighting one or fighting multiple of
I would say fighting most of them. That's what I would say.
It's just the only reason I say that, too, is because I can't remember the name of them. Because I know there's like the three-headed, and they may very well readapt all these on how they look exactly.
King Ghidorah? Is that what
the three-headed Hydra with wings?
I'm looking them up right now.
Yeah, there's Mothra. There's and I don't think they're gonna go with Mecha Godzilla. There's a few of them. aside from Mechagodzilla, which again I don't think we're gonna get, but like Ibria. I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of these wrong.
Correct us as always.
Correct us, please. I mean, you probably can't because you type it and I can read it right here.
You can type it phonetically.
Yeah, oh, that's true. You can type it phonetically. Rodon, I think, is one that he regularly fights. Mothra, obviously. I think it'd be cool, like, him fighting some of these smaller monsters. And I'll show you the picture. I don't know if you want to try posting it, like a link to it below.
We'll try.
It'd be cool if they went with kind of an adaptation based off of this. Godzilla size. Because King Ghidorah in this one is, like, massively taller than him. So it'd be awesome for him to, like, fight these smaller said monsters and kind of prove his merit against the three-headed King, wow, I just forgot his name already. King Ghidorah. I forgot the pronunciation for a second. Because, like, this thing is just massively bigger than him. And it's like, no, I'm going to be king of the effing monsters now. And then that would actually kind of tie in where we don't have to have like what you and I were talking about, Godzilla v King Kong, where it's like, well, why would you put the monster fight in the beginning or the middle? No, the aftermath of this thing started off that way, and then
here's the monsters I think are going to be in it.
Okay,
let's go off of what they gave us already.
Okay,
so at the end of Kong Skull Island, they show the little thing. The first picture we see on the wall, obviously Godzilla.
Yes.
The second picture we see, and you can help me with names, is the pterodactyl.
That would be Rodon, I think.
So we have Rodon. There's a pterodactyl there. The third one is obviously Mothra, because it's a big giant moth on the wall. And then the last one is what looks to be a three-headed dragon.
Which would be King Ghidorah.
And that's what we're left with, is just those three. So I would say that Godzilla, King of Monsters, and what we see in the very last one is Godzilla on the left, Ghidorah on the right, and it looks like they're going to fight. So I'm assuming it's going to be Rodon, Mothra, Ghidorah, and Godzilla, where Godzilla comes out as King of Monsters and then goes up against Kong somehow.
Yeah. But that would be cool because, like you said, it's going to tie in two with King. And it's like, okay, now it's starting to make sense now that I can put the pieces together. Yeah. We, like I said, you and I had the worry at first of, oh, why would you put it in the beginning or middle? No, you can put King Kong at the end fight. Still have the end fight at the end, and then still have the storyline of the aftermath because of these fights in the second Godzilla movie.
Well, and also the thing that is going to be interesting is where is this going to take place?
Yes,
because Kong was on Skull Island. But this is not going to be on Skull Island.
No. This one, I mean, I think the Cranston one, I'm just going to call it that way so we know which Godzilla. I think that was New Yorkish area, right?
I don't
know.
The thing is, I don't see Cranston on the IMDb. They could be linked. I think that
I don't know if they're going to have him in this one again, but I think it used to be talked that one's linked to this one.
I'm very interested to see Millie Bobby Brown in that movie.
Well, maybe they're kind of like saying, hey, this is just the introduction. We're no longer going to have anything to do with that other than the fact that this is Godzilla.
Just reboot it a little bit?
Like a semi-reboot.
Like maybe, a retcon, maybe?
Could be. It'd be kind of cool. Maybe just make it its origins. It's in Tokyo. It could be any coastal area, basically. I'd say New York, kind of a little still far off. No,
LA.
It's a little far off from there.
San Francisco?
Large city.
San Francisco is basically right on the bay.
Could be. I'm just saying anything with a large city with large buildings that's right off the
That's right
coast.
On the water.
Yeah,
with
Tokyo
Chicago,
is a big
I'm
one.
sorry, we're out of it. We can't do it.
No, I'm sorry.
Unless he's coming from Lake Michigan. No, the water cold. The water's cold. No.
Lake effects. Lake effects.
No, I got to come up through the ice because it's February.
I mean, I think that's why most of them would stay away from Chicago.
Yeah.
You see Godzilla frozen like this? Well, we got a few months, guys.
I hate how cold it is. But any final thoughts on Godzilla Kong before we move into the last topic?
I'm excited, and if it's anything... You asked in the beginning my prediction of who's going to win. If it's going to be based off of the old movies...
I want Kong to win.
I do, too. He seems like a nice guy.
I'm pulling for Kong. That's what I'm pulling for.
if it's like the movies, though, it was Godzilla because he was basically the good guy. I don't know how they're portraying not Kong.
But they portrayed Kong as a good guy in Kong
Exactly, which would be an interest. That'd be what a twist.
What a twist.
It'd be interesting. I'm hoping, like I said, Kong's going to be more of a fair match. He's going to have grown since then. I mean, it took place in the 70s.
True.
This one's modern day. Hopefully, it's kind of more of a fair fight at that point. We'll have to wait and see. 2020.
I'm pulling for Kong, but this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What are your first thoughts about Godzilla versus Kong? Also, Godzilla King of Monsters, because we talked about that one too. Kind of forgot. I personally forgot that one was even happening. I thought that Kong and Godzilla get me that because that's the next one I want to see. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. But Johnny, let's move on into our final topic. And what we're moving into is 2 movies that will be coming to us very, very soon. And we're looking at Mario, which Nintendo confirmed will be an animated movie that they're working with Universal's Illumination Entertainment, the same company that did Despicable Me and Minions. And then you also have Paramount Pictures is saying they're going to give a video game movie adaptation to Sonic the Hedgehog to come stateside in November 2019. That Sonic movie is going to be a live-action CGI hybrid project.
Interesting.
And the film will be produced by Deadpool director Tim Miller and Fast and the Furious franchise producer Neil H. Mortis, among others. Here's what I want to ask you, though. Which is the better idea for a movie? The animated Mario movie from Illumination or the live-action CGI hybrid Sonic the Hedgehog?
Here we go! You know what? This is actually a really hard one for me to pick now that I have...
Is it hard after you just gave me the Mario Here We Go?
No, honestly, I'm going to pick Mario over Sonic. But now that I have more of the details sinking in, it's going to be really cool to see a hybrid
that
CGI
concerns me.
It concerns you, but at the same time, it's kind of cool, the concept, if they do it right. If they do it right. Kind of a semi-CGI'd Eggman. Obviously, we're going to basically almost... Andy Serkis almost the whole rest of the movie.
Maybe. Probably.
Really, maybe.
Well, the thing
okay, guys, put on the Sonic costume.
The thing I worry about is that, the thing with the Sonic... I want to pick the Sonic movie. I do.
I know you do.
I do, because I'm a Sega fanboy. Sega over Nintendo. I was Sonic the Hedgehog over Mario. Sonic was... my life, playing the Sonic games, watching Sonic on TV, the cartoons that came out during our childhood. I want to be fuck yeah, Sonic's the way to go. The Hedgehog beating Jumpman over here. However,
Eggman.
I don't know. Mario's Jumpman.
Jumpman.
We're doing Mario versus Sonic.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Now you got it.
Now I got it.
I'm we're doing Mario.
I'm
wait.
I thought Eggman was his villain.
Got a little confusing. I was going with a Mario Sonic thing.
Yes,
but
I got you.
The thing that worries me
was clever now that you know.
About Sonic is that the live action CGI thing, is it going to be where it's CGI in Sonic's world and it's cool, this looks good. But then it does that weird thing like the SpongeBob movie did.
Oh, that?
Where it's they come to the real world. And I hate when movies do that. I hate when it's we're going to the real world. And it's no, these characters should not be in the real world outside of their
I mean, if they make it look as
state.
realistic as possible without making it we filmed on... on location.
Even looking at the trailers, did you think that the SpongeBob movie you saw? Nah.
No.
That looks great.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It was SpongeBob. You think I was going to think it looks great at all?
That's the part where if that happens, I'm going to be no.
No, I'm saying if they make it look as realistic as possible in the terms of Sonic, making it semi... It's going to be weird, the kind of live action now that I'm saying it more and more.
Right now, I am more confident in the Mario one. Only because who's developing it?
Same people that did
Illumination.
Exactly.
They hit on Despicable Me. They hit on the Minions. Mario's going to look great. The only question I have with Mario's is what story are you going to tell? Which castle is he going to save Peach from?
Yeah.
Because basically that's the main story. I get that there's a ton of different stories with Mario.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of them.
They have the cartoon they can go off of. They have the Super Mario Super Show that they can go off of.
I don't think we're going to do that one.
They can also go after the live action and adapt that.
Go off of Jumpman.
They could. What would you do for the story for Mario?
That's a tough one because, I mean, there's so many different storylines to it. Because, I mean, the original one is he's Jumpman. And that was when the game Donkey Kong was out. Yes. So you save Peach
from the top of the
little
construction thing. It looked like.
Yeah, that's the first level. It gets a lot harder from there because you keep moving through. Construction sites. But there's that one. That's the original one where he was not even Mario. He was still called Jumpman. Then there's. I mean, there's a lot of them you're not going to go with. You're not going to go with the side-scrolling original Mario game. You're not going to go with... Because, I mean, what? You go down a path and... I mean, it'd be cool. You're going to throw all those elements in there. The ghost, you're going to throw in the Koopas, the Goombas. I feel like I'm saying a lot of derogatory slurs when I say these words.
Luigi, Bowser, Princess
bring
Peach,
Luigi in, Princess Peach,
Waluigi,
Toad.
Wario,
Toad.
Yoshi.
Ooh, I almost forgot about Yoshi.
Here's one thing that I think of, though, and
go ahead.
The article I'm looking at brings this point up, and this is a positive in the sense of Mario that's not a positive in the sense of Sonic, because obviously Sega has properties that it's their own, but like Nintendo, if this Mario movie comes out and it's a success, what's to stop them from going, okay, Illuminations, we'll do a Zelda movie, a Donkey Kong movie, a Star Fox movie. Buy it. I would take my money, Star Fox, let's go. Or even like a
Kirby.
Metroid Prime movie, a Kirby movie. There are so many different ways, things that they own under their franchise, that they could go the animated route. And hey, if Mario does well, this could be a kind of like a partnership where it's like, hey, Illumination, they're making some pretty good animated Nintendo movies.
Yeah. The only one that I wish, when you listed it, that would be live action is Zelda.
Yeah.
That's the only one I wish would be live action, but I get it.
It could be.
It could be, but I would get it because they already have like a contract with Illumination. It's like, okay, now do Zelda for us.
Well, and that's like Zelda's the one where you can even hold that one off. Yeah. The one that I'd really like to see is Star Fox. Yeah. That would be the one where, and I'm talking, give me the original Star Fox where it's Falco.
Do a barrel roll.
We can move one out. Slippy, Skippy, whatever his name was, whoever. I always let him die first. And then
let him die first.
And then the do a barrel roll.
That's gotta be in there. You know that's gotta be on. Do a barrel roll.
I want that crew. I want the crew from the N64 version. That's what I want. With the I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the wolf. And every time you'd go to that level with the snow, I see that you've outsmarted me, Star Fox. Or something like that.
I don't remember it, but yeah.
And then, because that was the level where it was the third level, I believe. Snowy, kind of like a Hoth area going on. Okay. And that was the like, hey, it's an open area, and you just got to fly around and kill the evil guys. And then Slippy would be like, oh my God, he's on my tail, help me. And you'd be like, got to get him off your tail. And Falco would be like, hey, Fox, you going to help me out over here? And you're like, oh, got to go over there and help him. That's what I want. That is what I want for Star Fox. However, we're not on Star Fox. No. We're on Mario. I think the thing that's interesting about it is, like, we talked about Batgirl, and it's like story. Mario, you can kind of create your own. Yeah. You don't have to go off of anything that you've done.
That's the great and horrible thing about video games, movies.
It's so creative.
It's so creative that, like, you don't have a set. I mean, you have your base set story. You have, like, your set story is this piece of string right here. Yeah. This imaginary piece of string.
It's like when you were a kid. Hey, play in that cardboard box. It's a spaceship. It's a mansion. It's a tunnel.
As long as you're playing in the cardboard box, you're there.
Whatever you want.
I mean, what you have to have Mario.
It's like Rugrats. Whenever they go inside something, it turns into like a cavern or something.
Exactly. I mean, basically, here's the concept: you have to have Mario. You have to have either like Bowser or King Koopa. One big villain.
Who would you pick as your villain?
Bowser.
Would you go Bowser? Would you go Wild Luigi and Wario?
I would go Bowser. Have Waluigi and or Wario if I'm going to have them in there as kind of a underling-ish, not like an actual like underling to Bowser, but like a roadblock in a sense.
Okay.
Maybe have Luigi in there as like a sidekick.
Wario and Waluigi can be the Bulk and Skull.
Yes.
Of the Mario movie.
Kind of, yeah, in a sense.
Maybe have a little bit greater of a role and not just be comedic relief.
Oh, I completely agree with that. But yeah, have it like sort of a...
They kind of look like Bulk and Skull.
Kind of, yeah.
Wario and Waluigi.
You bring that up, they do kind of. They're kind of
the only
Bulk
thing
and
is
Skull of the Mario.
The only thing, Wario's not as tall. Like, Bulk and Skull are evenly height, whereas Wario is vastly shorter than Waluigi.
Yes.
That's the only difference. But
everybody cheats.
That just popped into my head now where I'm like, holy crap, Bulk and Skull, that works. That works.
Does work.
They could be the Bulk and Skull of your movie.
I wouldn't do exactly that like you said. Don't do exactly Bulk and Skull.
Doodle-doodle-doo-doo. Doodle-doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo. Boing! Pie in the face.
Right.
That was the theme, man.
Pie in
that was it. But go on with your movie for Mario.
I'd have them be kind of like the constant roadblocks of like trying to like mess Mario up because they don't like Mario. Fuck you, Mario.
They want to make life hard for Mario.
And they're out for themselves. I think Wario's supposed to be like, he just wants the gold. He wants the money. He wants the coin. Then have Luigi in there. Maybe not the whole movie. Maybe part of it. Maybe all of it if you really want to. But help him out. It's his brother. So. I mean, you can always do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking on the other side for Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a ton of websites. Most of them have the same thought I do. And I'm going to read this from player.one.
Okay.
Might not be the most reputable sources, but this is more of an opinion piece, if anything. Since we know the Sonic movie is a live-action CGI hybrid, it's probably safe to assume the plot will involve Sonic entering the real world. While there may be a certain section of the internet excited for this prospect, everyone I know has the same question when I've told them about the movie. Why? Who knows? Maybe Sonic can tap into the same magic the Lego movies have managed to succeed with. That's the same thing I thought of. Like,
true.
When I thought of him, because that's why I think the Mario movie is going to be good. They're just not going to deal with that. We're not having them come to the real world.
No.
We're going to be self-entertained with our story that we're going to create for you. I don't know why Sega has to feel like, part of me feels like, is it because you're like, well, A, we want to be different, and B, we want to be edgy. That's another thing I look into it, and it's like, no, you don't. It kind of reminds me of Marvel DC here, where
Exactly.
Marvel is the Nintendo in this situation. Where, you know what? We're just gonna do. We're gonna play it safe.
We're gonna do it works.
We're gonna do it right. Is what I'm feeling right now. We're gonna do it right. Think of Mario's Iron Man 1 right now.
Exactly.
You know what? We're just gonna play it safe. And no, my Iron Man 1 Marvel wasn't the Marvel that we know today. Whereas the Sonic movie, I'm getting DC vibes from it, where it's like, we got to be edgy. We got to be different. Let's go BVS. Let's make it dark, man.
You know what I keep thinking more and more?
Super dark.
More and more thinking about the Sonic part.
Your mother's name is Martha. My mother's name is Martha.
We should be best friends.
That is what I'm feeling with the Sonic movie already. And some people might say that is a unfair way to think already because we haven't even seen anything about the plot. They basically just told us, hey, you're going to get it in 2019.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel right now, that I'm going to like one vastly different, vastly greater than the other, but the one I don't like is the one I really want to like because that's the property that my heart is at. That's how I'm feeling right now.
Not to ruin it more for you,
I'm
but
just gonna stomp all over my flowers. Aren't
yeah,
you?
kind of. What you know what I keep thinking as I keep thinking more and more about the Sonic part of this conversation, Sonic part of the movie. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
Smurf movies that came out.
Oh, gee. They didn't.
Just stomping on it.
I hope it's
the little
good.
bit of fire you had left, Ricky. I'm just gonna stomp on
hope
it. With I mean, those are not terrible movies to show your kids. I myself, I would not watch them again because I saw them parts of them on TV, I just did not find them entertaining.
I just don't get why do we have to bring him to the real world?
Oh, Ricky's gonna have a tantrum.
Why? No, it's serious though. Like, why does Sonic?
You're foot stamping and everything, dude.
Why does Sonic? I was foot stamping, but why?
A tantrum.
Why does Sonic have to come to the real world? He doesn't. And
he doesn't. You're right.
I get live action doesn't mean real world, but you tell me what it means because that's what I think it means.
That's what I think it means too. Live action usually means you have live actors doing it, not just voiceovers.
Just stay in your animated world. You know what Sonic movie I would love to see? Basically, you don't need to give me an origin story. I already know about Sonic.
That's who most of you people
I
are gonna
already know about him and Eggman. I don't need to see him go with Eggman for an entire movie. You know what you drop me into? Either movie one of two things. One's a rehash, so it's like, nah, I don't want to do that. You could do the rehash first, Shadow, basically, because that was from the
Shadow.
the Dreamcast game.
Yeah.
You could do Metal Sonic as a villain in there if you want something different than Eggman. But I would just go with the classic. Yeah, we know about Eggman. Eggman's doing his thing, and Sonic's got to stop him. Oh, what's this guy over here? The introduction of Knuckles. The introduction of Knuckles, and you introduce that, and that's the story. I would like that, and just keep it in your little CGI world compared to make it live action. And don't you say what I know you're thinking.
Ricky,
don't you do it.
You know why they're not going to listen to you,
because they don't know the way, Johnny.
Because you don't know the way.
Because they don't know the way.
You don't know the way, Ricky.
They don't know the way.
Rick,
I didn't realize after
you said Knuckles, and my brain went, yes, you set that up for me.
I didn't mean.
Now I can.
I'm
now
sorry.
I can use it.
I did after I was like, where was I? My mind was so like
aggravated with the live action.
It was so
thing.
Surrounded in the live action thing that after I got to it, it was when I saw your eye light up to where I'm like, no, what did I do?
He said the word Knuckles, and boom.
You know what it's
the
like?
Meme started.
It's like you were. I'm going to use a sports reference for Johnny who doesn't understand it. It's like you were at the plate with your baseball bat.
Yeah.
And I threw a fastball right down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And as it's going, just slow motion, and I'm thinking, no. And you just right out of the park. That's what you did. Like I missed my location, and you made me pay and sent it over the wall. That is basically what you did.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Any final thoughts on Mario versus Sonic?
I'm just going to drop it and say Mario has it right now because every time I think of the Sonic one, as of their description so far,
I hope better things come out.
Maybe
they
will fix what they're saying. Maybe they will give a better description of what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Smurfs movie.
I hope not. I hope the Sonic movie's good.
Maybe Sega will find a way.
And I don't even want this to be like an Xbox PlayStation thing or like a Marvel DC
No,
thing.
I don't. I just want them both
like
to be
one
good.
against the other, but
because I enjoyed the Sonic games too.
I want the Sonic one to be so good because he's my favorite. He's one of my, like, he is, you know how most generations, like I think the generation right before us, Mario was what they grew up with.
Yeah.
Sonic was my first video game that I played, besides like Duck Hunt, was Sonic.
See, my first one was Mario. I didn't really have the Sega as a kid unless I went to the pediatric hospital.
Well, and it was and this is a side thing to end the podcast with.
Yeah.
That's just like I had a original Nintendo, an old school Nintendo, because it was my dad's.
Yeah.
And I remember playing things like Mario and the Ninja Turtles on it and Galaga. It never got me all the way. Like, it never pulled me in and sunk me into that world. Whereas we got a Sega, I hooked it up, I put that Sonic cartridge in, and it was like, okay, I am in. Sega's my favorite console. This is the one I'm going with. And I was a Sega boy. Still played Nintendo. But I was a Sega boy.
See, I was heavy on Nintendo for a long time, so that's where Mario really hits in.
Super Nintendo tried to pull me away a little bit from the Sega, but then it was like Super Nintendo and Sega were my main two.
Well, I mean,
was going with.
For me, I had the original Nintendo. I had the N60. My first 3 systems.
Yeah.
And bear with me when I say this, was the original Nintendo, the N64, and the big brick Game Boy.
Skipped a couple generations with
I
the
know.
N64 to the Nintendo.
Original Nintendo. Yeah, I know. I didn't.
N64 is a great console, though.
It is. Well, guess what? When I went from N64, the next step up was PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
So I tend to skip generations because I stick with the system for a while.
I liked Nintendo. Like N64 I liked, Super Nintendo I really liked, but really my favorite consoles were Sega. And then the only other console that gave me that same exact feeling the first time I pressed play was literally when I pressed play on the PS1. And you saw that opening screen, the doodle-loon, and you see like it was the orange diamond at the time.
Yeah.
That feeling, every time I hit play, same feeling over and over. And then I went to the PlayStation 2. You had all the blocks and the blue
and the worry if the game was going to load.
There. That too. There was that on the chunkier ones, the big ones that I had. And then PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below for Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario. Are you guys excited for both the movies? Are you not excited for one of them? Let us know what you think down below in the comments down below. And if you're listening to the full podcast, either on YouTube, on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere around the world, podcast services, thank you for sticking around. Let us know what you thought about any of the topics we talked about today. A little bit of housekeeping here at the end. If you like what we're doing, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Any bit helps. If you want to get your own MVP merch, get that t-shirt down below in our store link. Make sure to bookmark mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where you're going to find everything for MVP. And last but not least, please go on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, give the Rick and Johnny Podcast a 5-star rating. Want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Want to thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. However, as always, have a good day, everybody.